Good morning, South San Francisco. This is Rich Lee, your podcast host and producer and assistant city manager. I'm joined here by a very special guest, Elida. And Elida, I'm going to butcher your last name, so I'm going to try though. Elida Sobalvarro from YMCA Community Resource Center. Elida, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. You actually pronounced it very well.
Yes. So there are numerous things that I wanted to talk to you about. There's so many things that YMCA does for the South San Francisco community. Probably the one that was the most recent was we had the Touch a Truck event, and that was kind of a kickoff for the diaper donation program. That all started, a year and a half ago-ish. You and I was touring the YMCA facility, and gosh, you guys had diapers like everywhere. Mm-hmm. And we had this conversation about the nonprofit organization that you worked with. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, you tell the story better than I do, but if you could share with the community, first about yourself and your connection to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, my name is Elida, and I was born and raised in South City, so I grew up on Grand and Magnolia for most of my life, and so it was really, really phenomenal when after college I was able to stay and work for the community that I'm truly a part of. So it's a really special place in my heart. So I've been with the YMCA Community Resource Center for about 8 years now. It's really made it extra special and really difficult to think of leaving, because it's my community, and it's been such a big part of my life. So definitely feel a special connection to my place of work and what we do. So it's great that we're able to provide different services that help community members that are in need, and really focus on the community aspect of it, and get to interact with other people that are also really passionate about helping and being part of their community. So it's a little bit about me and the Community Resource Center. I'm sure we can dive into a little bit more about what we do, but the diaper program and getting that launched was so fantastic to see that get launched through the Touch a Truck event. I can talk a little bit about how it all started. How that started. We had been receiving small donations of diapers a few years ago, and then once the community found out that we had it and we were doing a little bit more outreach for it, we realized the need was huge, and so we were able to partner with an organization called Help a Mother Out. They're phenomenal, and they provide diapers for truly, a fraction of the cost, right? If one case of diapers cost an average of $50, we would get almost a whole pallet for the cost of a case.
Wow.
Yes. And so they're phenomenal. They have a lot of partners throughout the Bay Area, and unfortunately a couple years ago, or a year and a half ago almost, I want to say, there were state budget cuts post-COVID, of economy trying to recover, and their organization experienced some budget cuts, which meant they had to sunset some of the partnerships that they had made, and at that point we were only receiving donations on an on-call basis, and so we went from being able to give an entire case to families to just like a pack instead. Wow. Which the community definitely felt the impact of that. Our team felt the impact of not being able to provide families what they actually needed. At that point, when we were at its peak, we were providing to 120 families a month, which meant about 137 kiddos for families that had multiples. And then, the city, we've always had a really phenomenal relationship with the city of South San Francisco, and y'all came to our office, and I think one of the times that you came, you saw shelves with diapers, and then another time you came, you saw shelves without diapers, and that's how this conversation got brought up, and how we could work together in being able to help better meet the need. And that's how the idea of maybe having different diaper donation locations throughout South City came to be. And the fire department and City of South City, Parks and Rec, and then Genentech's opportunity to help fund that was a vision, and then it actually came into actualization just last Saturday. So that's great.
So I want to acknowledge the International Association of Firefighters, Local 1507. That was the organization that applied to the community grant that Genentech supports the South San Francisco community, and Genentech awarded the grant. So it started, with me visiting YMCA, but then Local 1507, the city manager and I had a conversation, and one of the things they wanted to do was they wanted to do more in the community, ways for them to support beyond, of course, saving lives. And the first thing I said was diapers. Like I think during the speech, during the Touch a Truck event, I think it was the president of 1507, Dietrich, he said, diapers. I said more than diapers, but that's where it started. And that's when they applied for the grant, and then they were awarded the grant. And I think as I'm editing this video, I'll put up a picture of what the donation bin looks like.
Great.
It's beautiful. And there's 4 locations throughout the city, one of them being at Genentech, 3 of our fire stations. And this Touch a Truck event was a great way to kick it off. I think all told, over 9,000 diapers were donated. So such a critical community need, and I'm glad the community stepped up. So thank you, South San Francisco. But that's just one tiny thing that YMCA does for the community. There are other things that I wanted to cover. Probably the first thing that I was aware of were the bi-monthly food distributions. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, yeah. Those food distributions, they existed before I even started at the YMCA. So we had 4 different community-facing food distributions in addition to just emergency kind of non-perishables that we keep at our office. And that's just been the case ever since. Even through the pandemic, we were able to increase the amount of food that Second Harvest was able to, in partnership with them, able to provide to us. And we increased our capacity so that we could distribute more food out to the community. And so we've been able to keep that going. So one of those food distributions is, yes, bi-monthly, and it happens at at 840 West Orange, the old West Orange Library, out in the parking lot. And it's been a great location, also, made possible through partnerships with the city of South City and just the willingness to be able to, help us find locations so we can continue to meet the increased need. So it's happened twice a month, and those we distribute fresh produce, vegetables, fruits, usually some sort of frozen protein, and then some non-perishables. We really get excited when we get a bread, because that means there's mini muffins, and everyone likes the mini muffins. And even some of the kids that come with their parents to the food distributions, they'll see the little baggies, and they'll get extra excited. So we try to save those for the kids at the distributions. But yes, we serve about 400 families every distribution. So that one happens twice a month. And then we have another 2 distributions that happen now, just recently moved to Orange Park. Also, thank you to the city for that location. And they're all farmers market style, if you will. So you come, you bring some sort of a cart or heavy duty bags, because that food gets heavy. And you come at the time and pick up your food, kind of like a farmer's market style.
And you can correct me on this statistic. I learned a couple things over, probably since the pandemic, which is there's a difference between a food pantry and a food bank.
Right.
And 2023, I was president of an organization, and one of the things I wanted to do as a part of our annual conference was to have a philanthropic portion. So we partnered with Sacramento Food Bank to one, have a fundraiser amongst the members, and then 2, we did a day of service where we packaged groceries and vegetables and fruit. And the phenomenon that they saw from pre-pandemic to post-pandemic is similar to Silicon Valley Food Bank. Second Harvest Food Bank of Silicon Valley, which is, the local food bank covers San Mateo and Santa Clara County. And the pre-pandemic numbers compared to the post-pandemic numbers, it's more than double. And it really hasn't subsided, which is at that time I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was expecting, okay, post-pandemic, the numbers should go down. They haven't.
No.
And you're probably way more versed in it than I am, but one of the consequences of what's happening at the federal level is food banks are losing a lot of funding. So that just puts more of the, I don't want to call it a crisis, but it probably is nearing a crisis,
right,
where they need more support from the community. You can probably quantify that a little bit better than I can, but the need is there, and if their funding is largely evaporating, what kind of, how will that impact, at least here locally?
Yeah, I think one of the most tangible ways I can describe the impact of that is during the pandemic, when there were more funds available for families that needed extra support, we were able to provide chicken and milk and eggs, and there was a plethora of items that we were able to give, and everything came in really nice kind of like pre-boxed packaging, so that it was easier for the food distributions to operate and to pass out, and for families to take food. And it was a really good amount of stuff. And then now, because of different, budget cuts coming from the federal level, then the food bank, Second Harvest Food Bank, and I'm sure many, many others, have had to make some really difficult decisions on what type of items to cut, unfortunately. The price of eggs, as we all, I think, experienced a few months ago, you couldn't find eggs on the shelf at, Trader Joe's or Costco. So if we couldn't find that at Costco, imagine what that meant for the food bank. And so families that it was like getting hit twice, right? With I can't afford to buy it at the grocery store. There's none at the grocery store, and also there's definitely none at the food bank, where folks relied on getting their food on an ongoing basis. So now our distributions, right? We are either able to provide a frozen protein or milk,
right?
But we haven't seen eggs on the menu in a while, right? So this is just a very tangible item that is very, it's a staple item for so many families, and we're not able to provide that. And that's just only one example of the impacts.
I'm remembering this was before the federal government started kind of cutting support for food banks. There was the egg crisis, the most recent one. And you're right, you would go to Costco, which you would think, if there's any place I'm going to find, eggs, it's going to be there. And I went to the freezer section, and it was an empty space. Right. I think we went to a different Costco, not in South San Francisco, and I remember I saw eggs, so I got excited. But the only quantity that was available was 15 dozen eggs for like $177. And I said,
wow. Oh my goodness.
Gosh. Wow. So for families that have, limited disposable income, that is just, it's a luxury. And not being able to provide, a staple protein, it's going to impact their nutrition. Gosh, I wish I remembered her name. One of the folks I've interviewed previously, she's the CEO of Wholesome Foods. Oh, okay. And she has her food distributed at like Whole Foods and other grocers. One of the things that she said that I remember and I absolutely respect was she grew up in a lower socioeconomic environment, and seeing children eat food that was just not healthy, right? And that was the general conclusion. And her kind of mission in life was, just because you come from a lower socioeconomic status doesn't mean that the food that you eat shouldn't be nutritious and shouldn't be healthy. And I love that and I respect that, and it kind of brings home what's happening with the food that you're able to distribute. If they're not able to get just basic proteins, there's going to be consequences from a public health and safety perspective. I think probably where the food distribution becomes most visible is during the holidays. That's where a lot of our volunteers, Marie Patea, who oversees the volunteer program, she gets them into motion, right? But am I right in saying that there are volunteer opportunities throughout the year for people to help during these food distributions?
Yes, absolutely. And the summertime is great because we get some of the students that aren't in school and are available during, our regular business hours to come and help. But absolutely, there's a need for volunteers for food distributions year round. And since we have 4 throughout the month, there's plenty of we have plenty of help that is needed. So we get some of our volunteers through Second Harvest. Folks can sign up directly through the Second Harvest Food Bank and volunteer through there. And also we have kind of ramped up our volunteer process and outreach. And absolutely thank you to Marie, who not just helps us during the holiday event, but just I think last month I asked her as a favor to put our flyer out there for volunteer signups, and in a matter of truly, I want to say 45 seconds, immediately she responded, and then in like 3 minutes we got people already signing up through our Teams form. So yes, thank you to Marie for her help with that. And yeah, we need volunteers that can help pass out food, sort some items at the actual food distributions, and even help sometimes families to their car if they need extra support. It's something we'd like to do more often, but because we are limited with volunteers, we don't always have the extra hands to actually help folks to their cars, which for some of our community members is truly, it's a critical need, right? It's folks aren't homebound per se that can come to the food distribution, but they can't also carry 30 pounds of food on their own. Right.
They have mobility challenges.
Exactly.
I mean, both my parents have mobility challenges, so I definitely understand that. So that we've kind of covered the food distribution, we've covered the diaper donation program. There's another critical program that YMCA administers on the city's behalf, and that's the rental assistance program. And I believe you come to the council at least twice a year, if not more, to kind of provide an update on how the program is going. I have some stats in my head, and I know that from the time that the program started, which was, I believe, during former Mayor Nogales' term, through now, the city council has appropriated over $1 million to support this program. You're going to know the stats better than I am of how many families that has prevented displacement, and how many people have been able to stay in their homes because of this program. So would love to hear more about the program.
Yes, absolutely. That has been a great program, so helpful. As the YMCA Community Resource Center, we are one of 7 core agencies that partners with the county in order to provide safety net services. And through that, there is funding available for rental assistance and homelessness prevention. And also, the need is so great that extra support is needed, extra funding is needed. And the city of South San Francisco's ability to be able to continually support a program like that is truly vital. So I wish I had an exact number for you right now. But yes, over $1 million have been dispersed to be able to provide rental assistance or security deposit assistance and utility assistance. It's kind of all the different services that can be funded. And at least, I'm going to confidently say, we're getting close to 200 households served, which, if you think about it, on an average of like $4,000 per assistance provided, it adds up really, really quickly. But that means 200, at least a minimum of, and that's just families helped through the South San Francisco Rental Assistance Fund, are able to stay in their homes and not have to face evictions and homelessness. And of course, it's not necessarily a fairy tale ending for every family. There are other external factors that impact people's ability to sustain themselves and remain housed, especially in the area that we live in, that is very, very difficult to afford. And also, this program has been able to be a buffer and sometimes be just that extra little bit of assistance that someone needs during a extra difficult time of their lives, as they're working to get themselves at a better financial place, and then able to access our other services like ongoing food distributions or transportation assistance, to kind of help mitigate that the gap of services so that they can continue to work towards sustainability.
So if a member of the community is experiencing some financial difficulty and they're not sure if they're going to be able to pay rent, how would they reach out to the YMCA?
Yeah. Folks can either come and drop by during any of our drop-in hours. As of right now, you don't need an appointment to come Mondays 8 to 12, Tuesday, Thursdays 12 to 4. You just walk on in, don't even need to bring anything with you. Ideally bring your ID, right, so we can make a file. But even if you didn't have an ID on you, you just were walking next to the street and wanted to pop in to ask questions, that's the best time to do it. And we can then set up a more scheduled appointment during a different time to actually assess everyone's case individually, see what they're eligible for, what is the most efficient program for them or funding source for them, and try to help them as quickly as possible, especially for rental assistance and security deposit assistance cases. Landlords also need to receive payment by a certain time in order not to have eviction proceedings move forward and all of that. So we do our best to try to move these applications as fast as possible, and build good relationships with landlords and build good relationships with tenants to make sure that everything is functioning as cohesive as possible. So drop in during our drop-in hours or call us Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. At our new main line. Actually, this is perfect timing. We just changed our main line phone number to 650-271-3850.
271-3850.
Yep.
Okay.
And, we're actually sending out communications about that all this week. So yes, call or.
And then what's the address in South San Francisco?
Yes, great question. 1486 Huntington Avenue, Suite 100 in South San Francisco. We're the only office in the first floor of that building.
A question. So let's say the reason for someone experiencing difficulty in paying rent or having a deposit or paying utilities, oftentimes there's an unexpected event. They may have just been laid off, may have lost their job. Do you partner with other nonprofits to provide support to help them get job training, workforce development, things like that?
Yes, absolutely. We wouldn't be able to do our work as a standalone agency at all. So having partners that we can collaborate with is instrumental. Yes. For any sort of employment resources, job readiness, we refer folks to Job Train right there at the Economic Advancement Center, which is also very convenient because our staff are there kind of holding like office hours every Monday afternoon at the EAC. So it's very efficient to be able to tell folks, hey, we're talking about rental assistance with you and providing that help. And also there's the Job Train just 20 feet away. You should go talk to them as we work towards a plan of sustainability for you and thinking through what other job opportunities are there. So yes, Job Train is phenomenal. We've actually also referred folks to Renaissance right there at the EAC as well, because a lot of families have small businesses and they might not even recognize that it is a small business, and it can be. It's a very legitimate business that just needs extra support in getting itself a little bit more organized, and that would help the sustainability of their business. So Renaissance has been a good partner for some of our folks. And then Samaritan House also, they are also a core agency and they serve folks in a little bit southern part of the county, San Mateo, Burlingame. But they have a program that really helps folks with budgeting and planning, and it's like financial coaching, if you will. Yes. And so there's even incentives for participating in the program, and we've heard a few success stories of just having someone be able to advise you and ask questions to. We don't necessarily learn how to balance our budget in high school. And so for families and folks of all ages and all different backgrounds, I think it's just a helpful resource to have.
I know it's been at least a couple of years. There have been calls to change the curriculum so that financial literacy is a part of the high school experience. But I think it's called the FEC, right? The financial
empowerment. Oh well, for
right,
yeah.
the one that's in the southern part of the county, and I think there's interest in having one closer to here and the northern part of San Mateo County. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
So, to kind of recap the services that YMCA CRC provides, obviously the food distribution, rental assistance, and now the diaper program. Are there programs that we haven't covered, or are there programmatic explorations that YMCA CRC is looking at for the future?
Yes. We currently also have a kind of broad transportation program. Depending on the different kind of programs that are available countywide, we're able to provide. Currently, it's a Clipper card. So for public transit, a fast track transponder for folks that need to pay a toll across a bridge, with a $200 value on it. That's available once a year, and I think sneak peek, but in September we're that program is changing a little bit, and it's actually going to be called, I think it's the Go Card. And still $200 value, but everyone is eligible again because it's a new card, and it's kind of going to be like a debit card for a debit card for transportation services. So it works for Samtrans and even paying your toll, and that's going to be launching in September. So transportation programs is one of the programs that we're going to try to continue to have. And we have what we call Bianca's Closet at our office. Our associate director, her name's Bianca, and she started in a very grassroots way through her master's program, opening up ways for people to donate clothing and hygiene items, specifically for either unhoused clients or anyone going through a tough time, really, any newly arrived families. And that's been growing, and we'd like to take more donations of items for that too, and hopefully be able to have more space to store things like that, and turn Bianca's Closet into a Bianca's
warehouse.
Yes. Exactly. So that's something that we're working on. But yeah, I think we have food, financial assistance. A really important one is anyone that is experiencing homelessness or about to be experiencing homelessness. Unfortunately, sometimes even with all the programs, it's unfortunately not enough sometimes. And we are one of the access points for the county's coordinated entry system.
Yep.
So folks can come to us, and then we connect them to a diversion specialist that not just is the avenue for folks to get placed into shelter in the county, but also that diversion specialist, it's in their name. They are also looking for other housing options and diversion options for families, which includes getting placed on below market rate apartment listings and getting help with Section 8 and stuff like that. So that's also happens through us. And then we have a back to school program that we're actually signing up families for right now for school supplies. We don't have backpacks, but we do have a good, nice bag of school supplies that we're going to be giving out on August 1st. So we're signing up for that right now. We're hoping it is through sign up. So folks, if you are interested in getting school supplies for your children, please call us or drop by during our drop-in hours, and we can sign you up right now before August 1st for any families that are in need. And then anything that we don't have in our office on our services list, so outside of food, financial assistance, diapers, transportation, homelessness services, anything that we might not have, one of the biggest things that we do is information and referral. So we consider it a program as a community resource center to be able to inform the community where other services are that we may not have, and then refer folks to those.
So two things stuck out to me. First is the Go Card. That's super exciting. It made me, the reason I thought of it is every month I get the notification from Fast Track that my statement is available. So I always look at it. I'm like, okay, is this correct? I looked at, I think it's the Bay Bridge. To cross the Bay Bridge now is $8.
Yes.
And I said, wow, we've come a long way.
Yes.
So that $200 is really going to go help the community, especially those that have limited means and transportation challenges. So I hear you saying that Samtrans will also be valid on BART as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other one was Bianca's Closet, and would love to partner with YMCA CRC on that. If members of the community, is it certain types of clothing or just all genders, all sizes?
Yeah, great question. All genders, all sizes. We have more kids clothes than we do adult size, simply because of space, right? It's easier to store smaller children's clothing than 6 foot tall person. And so but we do welcome all, and it's a great help, especially for any unhoused clients that we are able to serve and provide that for. So we want to increase our capacity.
So if there's anybody from our business community who happens to have extra warehouse space that they could partner with the YMCA CRC on to help them provide more clothing for members of the community, that would be great.
Yeah, thank you.
So we talked about opportunities for members of the community to get involved, to volunteer. What are some other opportunities, maybe outside of the food distribution, clothing donation, diaper donation? Anything else come to mind? Like if I, especially for our members of the youth, it may have changed since I was in high school, which was a long time ago. But we had community service requirements. If a member of Baden or South San Francisco or El Camino High School has a volunteer requirement or community service hours that they need to fulfill, what are some ways that you would like them to get involved with the YMCA?
Yeah, great question. The main way is to come volunteer at our food distributions, and we have them frequently enough, which hopefully helps also the students that are looking for those community service opportunities. That is definitely number one. And of course, when we have our holiday events, that's even more hands are needed, because we're doing usually some sort of a gift for families too. So food, holidays, and hopefully next year we're able to do a little bit more of a bigger sort of a back to school distribution. Pre-COVID, we actually used to kind of host a resource fair and give backpacks and school supplies at a different location where it could hold more cars than what our tiny parking lot can hold. And if we do that again next year, then we'll definitely need more help, and it's during the summer, so students can have their time available. The reason why we do keep volunteering to those kind of more community-facing distribution sort of events, though, is to hold client confidentiality and privacy.
Yeah.
So that makes volunteering for our other programs tough, because we have to make sure that it's staff or interns that have gone through the whole background check and everything to keep client information private, because we do we have people's names, date of birth, and all that we want to keep.
So before we wrap up, I want to do a quick lightning round with you.
Sure.
Since you grew up in South City and you're a member of the community, what is your favorite spot in town to unwind?
Oh gosh. I really liked going up to it's near Hillside Boulevard, and you kind of just can run up the one of the streets. It's kind of like an incline. Once you get to that, there's a little neighborhood that's a roundabout. And sometimes I would run and be healthy and feel really accomplished looking at the view from up there. And sometimes I would go there and bring my coffee and drive up there. But just being there and looking at the beautiful view. We have great views in South San Francisco and a lot of different viewpoints. So I would say that's a big one.
I try to do it about once a month. And we're actually looking at it right now. We're in the LPR, and we're facing Sign Hill. So about once a month, I try to climb to the top of Sign Hill, and every time I go, it's a little bit slower. It's okay. It tends to happen.
That's great.
This will be the last question I ask you. What is one thing you'd like every listener, every member of the community to remember about today?
That's a great question. I would say that in our name, it's the Community Resource Center, and we really value the community part of our name. So that's how we treat our staff, like our own small team, small but mighty team. It really feels like family. It feels like community. I don't dread going to work on a Monday morning because I actually like and appreciate that the people that I work with are passionate about what they do. And that then translates onto how we want to interact with the community that comes to our office or actually in the community. And the same way that we feel like we are part of the community that we serve, we hope that the community feels like the YMCA Community Resource Center is a place that is safe and welcoming for them. And that's a really huge priority for us as a team, is do what we can and help the folks that come into our office as if they were our cousin or as our neighbor, because for some of us they truly are our neighbors. Yeah. So that's a huge priority for us, having that community aspect be felt.
And that's one of the many things I appreciate about South San Francisco is it is a strong community and we step up for one another. Elida, thank you so much for joining me today, and look forward to continued and ongoing collaboration between YMCA Community Resource Center and the city.
Yeah, thank you for your time and partnership. I appreciate you.